Okay, down to business. Intro, Sweet Jane. Track 1, side 1, Lou Reed, Rock and Roll Animal. Quick thing about the sound. I once read in Guitar Player magazine an interview with Dan Baird of the Georgia Satellites, and he was at that show. He was at the Academy of Music for the show that these albums come from. And he said, he looked up on the stage and said, Marshall and the Junior, I've got to get that sound. Now, what we know now is Steve Hunter actually used a high watt amp. Well, he didn't use a Marshall. I think Dick had his legendary 100 watt Marshall. The guitars weren't strictly speaking Juniors either, and Dick then moved on to BC Rich. The only time I've ever seen Steve Hunter live, he played a Moser, which is a lock and trem style guitar. But let's say for simplicity's sake, the sound was a Les Paul and a Marshall stroke high watt. There's also an abundance of phasing. Now, for this, I'm going to use two sounds, right? Sometimes to do the Dick sounds, I'll use this sound. And sometimes I'll use that with like extra phasing, what do we? That sound, right? Sometimes I'll use a more rock and roll sound for Steve's parts, which would be this. And sometimes I might use that sound with phasing, which would be that sound, right? So that's the kind of sounds we'll be using, right? With modelling amps and stuff and multi-effects processors, it's really up to you. If I were playing it live, I think I tend to play it straight, which would be Les Paul, Marshall, whatever. Dick's parts, I think, are slightly cleaner because Steve's effectively playing a solo. Dick's playing the two chords, which are C and B flat. But this is a really important bit. If you want to play this live, if you want to get absolutely tutti frutti, Dick plays a lot of lines under Steve's solo. So if we play it with a clean sound for a second, but with phasing, I'll explain as far as I know what Dick does, right? So Dick's playing that. There's a C, like that. At certain points in the solo, Dick starts playing like a counterpoint to Steve's solo. there are three parts I would say you've got to have. There's a part where you hear Steve play a very high, and underneath it you hear Dick go. It's not a harmony, it's a counterpoint. So one bit I think is absolutely essential when this is going on. Dick plays. Right, you'd probably recognise that bit, I hope. So it's B flat and A. B. Right. And one other bit, when this is going on, you hear Dick play. And again, that's a counterpoint. It's not harmony to what's going on in the solos. There are a couple of bits where Dick kind of suggests the chords, so you've got the C and the B flat over the C. So we've got that line coming up from a C, C, D, E, F, G. There's a D for the B flat, because the D obviously is in the B flat chord, right? So those are Dick's lines. A lot of times in those days, guys achieved a clean sound by turning the guitar down. So they had their drive sound took the guitar down and it cleaned up, you know. That will work. Or you could have a 2-channel amp. Now neither of those amps on stage that night were 2-channel amps, but if you wanted to do it like that, you know, you could possibly play. And that would really suit the... And Steve. Yeah, I hope we're getting sort of feel for it now. So those are the sounds. I've got a Boss Katana Mark II sitting behind me. I've got 2 sounds. One is, as I said, rock and roll sound. One is a very clean sound with a bit of phasing. And I'm doubling up the phasing. I don't know if you can do that, but you know, hey, I'm doing it for some of the clean sounds. And I mean, to me, that would be a great, you know, heroin sound. That sound, right? So, switch off the phaser, go to the rock and roll sound, and we'll start with the intro of Intro Straight Jane, okay? Right, here we go. The background, backing rather, right? First thing you hear is right. That line. Now that line's coming off an E, E, G, C, D, C. Play through it, down to the G, and then play 3 notes, which is C, C, B flat, D, and then descending those notes. And that's a very epic intro. The other guitar does this. You see how that's exactly the same. It's not quite parallel harmonies. You know, you've got the E and the G, but where we've got right. So we've got those 2 lines. So here's the second line. But this time we've got a D, C, and up to the F, and then we descend F, E, D. So at this point, Dick plays a tiny little line. It's very nice. That sounds like, and it leads into the first chord, which is, and that's your rhythm, right? So for the first, back to rock and roll, for the start of it, you hear Dick play, right? That line, that very rock and roll. Got a shake in it. That's your opening line. So we go A, C, D, bend it. And then just snap the D and the C. Now, I sometimes play that as, so I move my hand down to the B flat. If you want to just keep in one position, use your little finger, you go. I'm going to give you a choice here of sound. If you want to hear it with the phaser, it'd be like this. Yeah. So, as I say, the choice is entirely yours. That's the start of Steve's solo. That very 5-note scale. With a shake. And that B flat A. And now we're really cooking because he plays. So this time we've got F, E, C. slide from F to G, right? And then play E, F, but go all the way up to A. So that line altogether is right? That bit is A and B flat G. A lot of these lines, although they're in C, they're coming off a G. They're coming off the fifth, you know, in a kind of bluesy manner. So the next line is now again, if you want to hear that with the phasing, I think it's pretty like it. You go. Right? So that's we fret the G and bend the D. Give it a shake, let it down. So lower trill. And then this. That line, right? I love that line. So we start off with two chromatic lines, which are, so that's A down 2 notes chromatically, so it's A, A flat, G. Then on same for G, G, F sharp, F. So E and F, D and C, and then, so that's again off this 5-note scale, and then, right? Now one thing you may have noticed when I've got the phaser on is the phase, the sweep of the phase will sometimes tie in with your finger vibrato. You can hear it really, really prominently in heroin. But that would sound like, for example, a bit that goes. Now you hear where I'm going, hitting the note, pushing the D up to E, putting a finger vibrato on it. The phase is, if you like, duplicating the mechanical motion of your hand. Sorry if this is a bit long-winded, but I'm quite interested in this sort of stuff. So, we've got this. Right? At this point, this is where Dick plays. This is a lovely bit. In the background, you hear Dick go. Right? As I say, it's a counterpoint. We've heard him go. So we've got this. Right? And Dick plays. Right? Now that bit that's got a few more notes, if you like, after. Finger vibrato, give it a shake. Right, that's A and G and then up to Z. And then right, Dick plays his little counterpoint, which is lovely, and Steve plays, and he just lets that note hang there. Now that, with the phasing, sounds lovely. Right, there is a counterpoint to that, again with the phasing. Dick goes, again that's over. So Steve's going, and Dick's going. Right, so you see we're getting this accompaniment of two guitars. It's like a two guitar arrangement. Now, just before I finish this part, if you can find the $1 Billion Babies film with Alice Cooper, it's really, really interesting. It's a great bit where Steve and Dick Wagner's no longer with us. And they're talking about their partnership. And they say, we never really worked out the harmonies, did we? You know, maybe one of them had a line, you know, maybe... The other one heard that and went, well, what, I'll play over that? You know? And it worked. It seems to be a very organic partnership rather than the conventional twin lead thing. You know, where one guy says, well, I've got this great line that goes, right, and the other one go, you know, play that, you know, like, so the harmony would be, we play thirds apart, but it seems to be far more natural the way they did it. And that really ties in, as I say, with old Dick's, you know. All these lines, and as I say, sometimes he would outline the chords. There's your D note. Right, so that's the first part of Steve's solo. So I'll have a quick drink of tea. I'll be back in a second for part 2 of the solo, part 3 in total.